Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Decibels Music Film Festival. We are here with a very special film, The Rise of the Synths, which is our pre-festival launch party presentation. So for those of you that are dancing it up at the DNA Lounge, I hope you've had a good time watching the screening and enjoying some really good tunes. But for those of you that are at home, we're lucky enough to have some of the filmmaking team to kind of discuss about the making of the film and kind of share some of the stories behind it. So we have Ivan and Anna. Thank you again for being here, guys.
Thank you for inviting us. We are delighted to be here.
Yeah, hi everyone.
Well, this is just a kind of a really neat, deep dive into kind of a genre of music that I think that many of us are familiar with, but also we don't know a whole lot about. What made you decide to kind of go down this rabbit hole and know that this was kind of a subject that you wanted to make a film about?
It was by luck, actually. I wasn't really looking into doing another music documentary. I did one just before that one, and I swear to God that I will never do another music documentary in my life. But then I came up doing The Rise of the Synths. But basically, one of my friends, as I was doing a music video for him, and he wanted me to put some special music on it, and he sent me a couple of YouTube links, and one of them was a track from 80s Stallone, Cobretti. And I didn't know if this was a real 80s music or it was like a parody, or I didn't know what I was really looking at. And I really really hate this music, because I'm a child of the 90s. I was a teenager back then. Synthesizers were not cool at all. I mean, guitar was the thing to look for. So it really was like a natural reaction to it. But 2 weeks later, I don't know why, I came back to that video. And then I started looking at the related video. And that's when I really started like a 3 hours rabbit hole through YouTube, discovering these crazy names like Droid Bishop, Dance with the Dead, and Perturbator, and I don't know. And it was really fun to look at. And that was really how it started, because it was really a surprise to me that I was really liking this music. I wasn't supposed to. It was really opposite of what I was really listening to, and it really felt familiar. And then I started looking at the comments, and I was like, oh my God, these people are crazy about this music. I don't understand what's going on here. And that was the spark for doing the documentary. I didn't understand it. I didn't understand this music, this scene, and why these people were so passionate about it. And I wanted to find out.
And how about you, Anna? Were you familiar with the scene beforehand, and how did you kind of, how did you all start figuring out who you wanted to talk to and interview, and what stories you wanted to tell?
Yeah, well, no, I was not familiarized at all with synthwave either. And then it was Ivan who contacted me and my partner, Rebecca, because we had a company in Miami, Florida, in the United States, and Ivan and his partner, Javier, needed someone in the States also to bring the film into production. And then we were talking, and he explained to me the story, and he was like, "What? There are musicians that do what? 80s, you mean? But so popular? Are you sure?" And yes, we started making the research, and it was like, "Okay, this is huge," or it looks like it's gonna become huge, because in that moment in 2017, it was, no, Ivan, or 2016, there were already many fans, but maybe didn't explode yet. It was like in the 2-3 years following. And regarding all the interviews that we wanted to make, we left Ivan decide. Obviously, we had to make it wise in terms of how many territories we could visit in terms of budget, and we wanted to balance musicians in the United States or even in Canada as well, but also in Europe. Or we had the opportunity also to film in Australia with Power Glove, and then we just try to make a wide, to see the whole landscape and see as many musicians as we could in the different territories where there's really a huge community of fans. And that's how we decided. It was basically Ivan and us. Ivan decided the names of them, and us deciding how to make it worse in terms of production, traveling, and everything.
And as you kind of visited with all these different people, obviously you were surprised that such a community existed. Were there any other surprises that kind of came up as you were making the film?
I mean, the production of the film, I think it was, we made it in 2 years, I think, Anna, right? We shoot for 2 years.
Yes, we shot during 2 years. We made 2 different travels, one to the States and one through Europe, but it was, all along 2 years.
So obviously all kind of things really happens, really weird things happens during the shooting. So I don't remember all of them, but really weird stuff happens. But mostly it was really fun for me, at least, to really know personally all these people I was just emailing for 2 years, trying to, hey, I'm this guy, I'm doing this documentary about this music you are making. And people were really not believing that it was real. I mean, are you sure? Are you interested in doing a documentary about the music I do in my bedroom? Are you sure you want to, travel to my place? And it was really fun. And there was a couple of surprises, but one of the most beloved moment for me was meeting 80s Salon. It was like a crazy guy, and in the good terms, really funny, authentic. So it was really a nice moment. Also the gunship when we shot with them. I mean, I have fond moments for all of them, and I'm not lying. So it's really, really nice.
I must say that also the interview with Gansip, imagining to put them in the middle of the forest with a fire, having some marshmallows, burning some marshmallows while you talk super seriously about the references and John Carpenter in your music and the films. It was like, what? Are you sure this is going to work? And it worked perfectly. After when we saw the images after, was like, okay, Ivan is crazy, but it works. It's nice. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah, because that wasn't the place where we were supposed to shoot the interview. We were supposed to shoot it in their studio or something like that. I don't remember actually. But I think the guys came with the idea, hey, why don't we shoot in the forest at night, with a fire cam? And I was like, why not? It's gonna make my life much more difficult because shooting in the dark is not easy, but let's go for it. And I was one of those surprises that really bring some new spark moments in the film. I mean, nobody expected to have, gunship eating marshmallow in the forest.
Yeah.
How do you all feel about the music now that you spent so much time? Obviously you have an appreciation for it, but is it something that you listen to in your off hours, or is it more?
I love it. Right now, I love it. I mean, I always say that this music is take it or leave it. I mean, you love it or you hate it. It's not middle ground. I mean, you have to either love it or you hate it. That's it. And I started hating it, but I felt in love in, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes. So now I don't listen as much as I used to because I have to really clear my mind a little bit about synthwave. I've been living with it probably too many times. But I listen to a lot of synthwave music, and it has opened my mind and my ear to appreciate a lot of sounds I wasn't supposed to. I wasn't so open about. Now I listen to a lot of really drawn music and really weird analog modular stuff, and that's all because of the movie and making it and really appreciating the synthesizer sound, the music.
Nice. Well, I know that this is probably a question that somebody in the audience have, but it seems such a natural fit to have John Carpenter narrate your film, right? But what was that process like? And, was he skeptical about it or just decided to go full board? How was that process of getting John Carpenter involved?
Yeah, how we go about it. I mean, I'm gonna just say the good part, and then I leave Anna the practical and real one.
Okay.
At one moment, I remember I was thinking, okay, who should if there's any narrator in this movie, who should be like the ideal one, and Carpenter was the one for me. I mean, and I remember saying it out loud, like, if we make this movie and there's one narrator, we have to get not John Carpenter. And I remember that sounds crazy, but I really think this is the one to make it. And then reality came into place, and Anna has to make it happen.
Cool. And I think we've had a little technological thing where Anna froze there for a second. I'm hoping you could hear. So I've been told about his dream for John Carpenter, and then how did you make it help happen as the producer, Anna?
So I'm sorry, but I just I had a cat and I couldn't hear Ivan for the last seconds. But basically, after the first contact was made by Ivan, and John Carpenter's rep said, "Oh yes, this is something he could do," but then it was like, "Oh, we still need to raise the money." So it was basically like, okay, contact us when you are like professional enough and you have the money, and then you can come back to us. And then when we rose the financing to be able to pay everything, and obviously also the narration, we contacted her again, and she was very nice. Only we had to make, well, you know, from the producer's point of view, lots of comments on the contract agreements to make sure that, because at the end we were in Spain, because even if my partner and I had a company in the States, in that moment we were back in Spain, and it was like, it was not so clear how we could film everything in LA, being us in Spain without much time to go in advance. And then we had to make sure that the agreement was very clear. So that took time, and my partner Rebecca had to work a lot on it with many calls, many emails, making sure that everything was ready, and then we could send the crew and Ivan and the crew to film with him. And yeah, well, the experience was also kind of very nice experience, peculiar as well, I guess, Ivan.
Yeah, it was very intense and surreal and magical. I will always remember that moment. So I'm not a mythoman. I mean, I'm obviously a huge John Carpenter fan, but I'm not mythoman. But that was, you know, something to remember, that it actually happened. And the moment that John sit down in that chair and started, you know, reading the words that we were writing a few months ago, it was something magical. And I think it turns really well in the film.
Nice. Well, you know, thank you, Ivan and Anna, for making such a great film and kind of letting us kind of time travel in kind of a very unique way. And thanks again for helping us kick off Decibels Music Film Festival, and have a great day.
Yeah, we wish you the best for the screening and for the festival, of course, for the whole festival, which looks amazing.
Yeah, have fun and a lot of synths.
Take care, everybody.